Hey everyone, I got a really cool present for Christmas this year, and I wanted to share it with you all. And I thought, what better way to share it than with a review? So, just a heads up before we get started, I wanted to capture some actual footage of the games, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute. But I couldn't really get an angle that looked right. So unfortunately, for the duration of this review, it's just going to be still images that I sourced from Wikipedia and some other places on the internet. So anyway, without further ado, for Christmas this year, my wife got me a Pac-Man arcade1up multiple game cabinet. The exterior of the cabinet is designed to resemble the classic Pac-Man cabinet, and it features 7 games. It has the original Pac-Man, 6 sequels to Pac-Man, and Galaga for some reason or other. No hate though, seriously, I absolutely love Galaga. The first game on the cabinet is the original Pac-Man, released in 1980. If you've ever played it in an arcade or in one of the hundreds of ports it's received over the years, it's exactly what you're expecting. And by the way, I'm terrible at Pac-Man. Pac-Man Plus, released 2 years after the original, is, as far as I can tell, more or less identical to the original, except when you eat the power pellets, the ghosts turn into these weird things that kind of look like knockoff Pokemon. There are also these random effects whenever Pac-Man eats a power pellet, such as the ghost turning invisible. I don't know, adds a layer of difficulty, I suppose. Fun fact on this one, it was developed without Namco's approval, which might explain the same but different approach to its gameplay. There are also extra bonus items. It's sort of like the fruit in the previous games, but this time it's things like donuts or cans of soda. Pac-Pal, released the year after Pac-Man Plus, might be the weirdest game in the entire collection. It also happens to be one of my favorites. In this game, Pac-Man still eats fruit, but he also eats keys and cards, which will open up pathways to various items, including more fruit or power pellets, which turn the ghost blue just like in earlier games. There are also 2 items that I think are supposed to be magic wands. When you touch them, Pac-Man can shoot a set of waves out of his mouth that stun the ghost for a short period of time. The middle of the map, just under the ghost corral, can't be seen through, which can be an issue if a ghost you're unaware of is in there. Maybe the strangest thing about this game is a small green monster that walks through the maze, picking up items and taking them into the ghost corral. I guess that's the pal in Pac-Pal. Anyway, the green monster, which according to Wikipedia is named Miru or Myru, picks up items for you, freeing you up to focus on the keys and the cards. Even for those among us who struggle with Pac-Man, this one is absolutely a must-play. Next up is Pac-Mania, released in 1987. Unlike the other games in this collection, this one is in 3D, sort of. You can also use the action button to jump over the ghosts, although it's not as easy as the attract screen makes it seem. The camera's also a weird angle, which makes it hard to know where the ghosts are, and even harder to find those pesky single pellets that get left behind. This game is by far my least favorite, and is one I would have been really angry to lose a quarter in as a kid. Let's move on. Next we have Super Pac-Man, released in 1982, the same year as Pac-Man Plus. Overall, this one is largely the same as normal Pac-Man with ghosts and power pellets, but features various fruits and other foods instead of the normal pellets. The keys from Pac-Pal also make an appearance here, and collecting them all is necessary to gain access to the power pellets and all the pieces of food which you need in order to finish each stage. The most unique thing about this game are the super pellets, which are green and make Pac-Man gigantic for a short period of time. This was released several years before Super Mario Bros., so any similarities are purely coincidental. Finally, the final Pac-Man game at least, we have Pac-Land, and it's something. It was released in 1984, so even though it has a striking amount in common with Super Mario Bros., that wasn't released until 1985, so just like with the previous game, any similarities are purely coincidental. The first thing you need to know about this game is how bizarre the control scheme is. I don't mean to sound like I'm making excuses for my poor gameplay, but seriously, the controls are awful. See how there's a joystick here? You'd think that's how you'd move side to side, wouldn't you? Nope. You move with these buttons here, which aren't used for anything else, by the way, and jump with this button, which actually makes a little bit of sense since it's the action button on every other game on here. You press and hold the left or right button to walk in that direction, double tap to run, and use the action button to jump. Just like in other Pac-Man games, touching a ghost results in the loss of life, but thankfully there are power pellets throughout that allow you to eat the ghosts. Overall, the game is really hard, and if I was a kid in 1984, I would be furious if I wasted my quarter on it. It's also irritating that there's no way to get 50 lives by pressing the credit button or anything like that, so no matter what, you only have 3 lives to work with. Unless you get enough points, that is. As I mentioned earlier, the cabinet also features Galaga, but rather than give it a full review, I'll save it for a future episode of Historic 66 Plays or something. For now, let's just say that I've spent far more time playing it than any other game on here. Overall, the cabinet is a worthwhile addition to any retro room or leisure space, although the $3.99 price tag might be a bit steep for some people. However, you can use a firm to finance if you need to. For the cabinet design, I give it a 5 out of 5. For the controls, a 4 out of 5, and the game selection, a 3 out of 5. Overall, I give the cabinet a 5 out of 5. It looks really cool, and even if you're not good at any of the games on it, like I said, it still makes a really nice accent piece to any room that you want to add it to. So I recommend buying it. It gets my full support and approval. Thanks to my amazing wife for getting this for me for Christmas. Everyone have a Merry Christmas. That's all for this episode of Historic 66 Reviews. I'll see you next time.